So summary of the third part, I think too much, but this is the end. So safeguard ICH from the tangible. So first I want to emphasize in villages like China, Yunnan, which is still very poor, I think safeguard ICH should be from tangible. ICH is intangible, but I think from tangible, very down to earth infrastructure improvement, okay, which is closely related with local residents' daily life. Second, yes, you know the village have a museum, a real museum, but I mentioned very little about the museum. Why? Because the villagers doesn't care about the museum. They only care about, well, is my donation safe? Can I get it back? Can I get subsidy from the museum? But they are very happy to be engaged in all kinds of activities. Here, I think museums have a narrow sense and a wider sense. In the narrow sense, it refers to the museum itself. In a bigger sense, the whole village is the museum. For the larger museum, they have a lot of activities. Okay, the activities is more fun and more attractive to the local villagers. Okay, the third point, a good eco-museum or good eco-village is a mirror to reflect and reinforce sense of identity of local residents and brings together all the elements of a specific places, like a thread, bringing pearls together into a necklace. This is something in Peter Davis' article, but not raised by Peter Davis. Yeah, but I think it's a very good idea. In fact, this eco-village, when you visit, it's like ordinary village, but when you live with them for a period, you can see ICH preservation, ICH revitalization in all kinds of activities. But eco-museum is like, or eco-village is like a string of the necklace. Bring all them together. Okay, challenges, very big challenges. It seems now this eco-village is a good example, but we do not know the future. Because the government, in fact, is funding a lot into the village. How about if the government stop funding this village? Can it go on sustainably? Okay, the second, I think it's the challenge facing by all the eco-museum or eco-villages in Great Mekong region. Is tourism the only way to develop local economy and help preserve ICH? And how dangerous tourism can be. It's very hard to keep the balance of tourism. Okay, and next, does it make sense if all the ICH become tourist attractions and performances? Nowadays, with this village, it's okay, but my next case is very serious problem. They sing songs, they dance, not for fun, not for themselves, but for tourists, to make money. Can this kind of ICH, real ICH? Okay, and last challenge, okay. There is a big tension between local culture and the mainstream culture. Young people like mainstream culture, they are greatly influenced by the mainstream culture, and between localization and centralization. Because, you know, the eco-museum is invested, in fact, by government. So it's a kind of control also to the eco-museum. Okay, conclusion. Ethnic or eco-museum is I think it's a variation of eco-museum adapted to the reality of China. And the second one, I think is very important. I totally agree with Professor Peter. Okay, I want to emphasize local distinctiveness, both in nature and culture. This is the key and the precondition to eco-village or eco-museum. Okay, and next, such village cannot develop sustainably without proper interaction between different stakeholders and without active participation of the local resident. And next, daily activities play a more important role in safeguarding ICH than museum exhibitions and the museum itself. This is, at least this is what I see in this village. Done this. And the last one, maybe this last one is not proper English, okay, but I want to say eco-museum or eco-village is a historical consequence. What I say is, We say, well, conventional museum, no new museology, but though eco-museum is new, it's just how to say, in the long history, maybe 10 years later, eco-museum is not something new. It's old convention. One can only find the eco-museum and reinforce it as an eco-museum or eco-village. You cannot build an eco-museum. Okay, I know this is a little bit difficult for you to understand, but I think not only is English problem, but this is my real opinion. You can discuss with me. For me, I think we cannot build a village as eco-museum because in China, a lot of villages are built as eco-village. You can only find the eco-museum which is qualified because it's local distinctiveness, and then you reinforce it as an eco-museum or as eco-village.